Okay, I'm going to go live to
Is that bite better?
okay.
All right, y'all ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Written Undead podcast. I am your host, Jack Childress, or as you see today, I'm Speedy Jack, which I had to be to get home as I was running a little bit late today, thanks to the Gallatin Christmas Parade. Yay. And as always, I'm joined alongside by Richard Ryan Rose, Angel Ramon, Patty Fry Raccio. And this week we have a wonderful guest, author of The Virus and the Virus Origins, the one and only Damien Lee. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, mate. Now I finally managed to get online.
It's been that kind of a day. I think it's going all around today, just chaos.
It certainly is.
So what have you been working on here lately, brother?
I've been working on the sequel to The Virus. It's called The Host. I finished the first draft of it, and now I'm in the many stages of editing at the minute.
The most fun part.
Yeah.
So when you first started writing The Virus, what inspired you to start that book? Where did that come from?
It came from a dream. I know it's really cliched and all that kind of thing to say, I dreamt it. I genuinely did. I used to work in the hospital many years ago, over a decade ago it was. And I dreamt that I was on the ward and all these zombies came in, and it was 10 floors up. No way out the windows, only one way out down the stairs, and there were zombies coming up. So in the dream, I had the idea of jumping up into the ceiling, the styrofoam ceiling tiles, push them aside, climb up into there, climb onto the pipe and save myself. Naturally, given that it's a dream, I fell. and I died in the dream, when you wake up and you're falling. It was that whole scenario. But I thought to myself, that's quite a good scene to have, and that scene actually made it into The Virus. For those who've read it, may be familiar with that one. But it just went from there, really. Just that feeling when I woke up, I just thought, that'll be a good scene, and I just developed it from there.
That's honestly the first time I've heard somebody saying that just one little scene from a dream created an entire book. I mean, it's pretty damn cool.
Books with a S at the end.
Yes.
Plural.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you have any thoughts on, go ahead, Rich.
I'm sorry. I got a quick question though. I noticed you got, The Virus and the Virus Origins. Is the Virus Origins like a novella, or is it a full-fledged prequel book?
No, it's a collection of short stories. When I was writing The Virus, I gave all of the side characters and minor characters a bit of a storyline just to help me when I was writing it. Just to plot. If I had an understanding of their background, it would help me visualize them when I'm writing. And as a result of that, I just thought, I've got all these background stories basically. I may as well put them together. They're already there. So I put them together in a collection just to basically bring to readers' attention how these characters managed to get to where they were when they were introduced into The Virus.
Heck yeah. So how much time do you spend a day when you're in like full-on writing mode? How much time do you dedicate?
Full-on writing mode at the minute, it is I do it in like 20 minutes, 30-minute bursts before procrastination takes over, and then I get sidetracked on something. But it's usually all day, especially at the minute with the whole lockdown scenario. You know, there's not a great deal to do when people are working from home a lot of the time. So yeah, I just spend most of the day just basically dipping in and out constantly.
Okay. So do you have like a word count that you go for each day?
I try to. I mean, an ideal scenario would be 2,500 words. If I'm really pushing the boat out, it's about 5,000 words. But like I say, that's a 10-hour day of going back and forward with it, really. I mean, when I was writing the sequel, I didn't really have a word count in mind. I just sat down and just started writing, basically.
Okay. Well, as you develop your characters, do you use any like actual real people in your stories? I ask this a lot because I'm always fascinated by it when people do. Or are your characters literally just pulled from your mind?
A lot of the characters are based on people I've came across in real life. Certain characters are an amalgamation of different people, so different personality traits. I've picked out bits and pieces and, you know, put them together to make a unique person, really. But yeah, a lot of them are based on existing traits of people that I've met or that people that I know.
Okay. So as you're going through and you got your characters and you're developing the story out, how do you go about picking who lives, who dies, when they die, and why they die? What goes into all that?
To be fair, I don't. When I start writing, I have a few pertinent points in mind. I have a few ideas of, you know, where the story is going to go and how it gets there. But things that happen across the story are new to me, really. Half the time when I'm writing, it just suddenly comes to me where I think, you know what, it's a good time for this person to die, so, you know, they can die now. And and that's just the way it is. I don't really plan it, really. In the sequel that I've just written there, I've just killed off a significant character, which I wasn't intending to do. But I just thought, you know, what the hell, I don't like them anymore, so they can go. And
That's awesome. So what kind of zombies are in your books?
When I first started writing the virus, I didn't know how many zombie books there were out there. To be honest, I hadn't read a single zombie book until I started writing my own. And when I started writing it, I just thought to myself, I'm going to get rid of as many stereotypes as I can. Obviously, with it being a zombie trope, you can't really avoid stereotypes entirely because it's been done to death. But I thought to myself, I'm just going to strip it back and just decide what would scare me if there was an actual zombie outbreak. So do I go for slow zombies, fast zombies, and stuff like that? So I developed it from there. I made them fast. I made them agile, quick. They can climb, they can run. Because I thought that's a hell of a lot scarier than the old, you know, the retro Dawn of the Dead zombies, where, you know, crack and film, but at the end of the day, you could just quite easily skip past most of them, couldn't you? I think if they're sprinting after you, and if you know your cardio isn't too clever, you're not going to live. And for me personally, that was definitely scary. I know I certainly couldn't run away from them. So yeah, I just picked out certain traits. So fast zombies. I stuck with the bite being infectious. I think it's a good, you know, it's a good plot point to keep the story going. And I made them. I gave a characteristic grin. So they have this, as you can see by the
cover. I love that cover.
Yeah,
I've got one kicking about somewhere. But yeah, the grin it's a characteristic of the zombie. It's almost like an excited grin whenever they see, you know, a potential victim. So that does crop up a lot throughout the narrative as well. So there's little things like that, really. I decided to pick out bits and pieces that I liked and just make them into the zombies that they are.
I do have a question, if you don't mind there. Probably because I'm bitter because Amazon won't let me do an ad campaign until I make my cover a little less graphic. But have you run into any of those issues with the grinning zombie with blood coming out of its mouth on your cover?
Yeah, I haven't really dabbled much in ads. When I first brought it out, I tried it for a few weeks, and yeah, it was weird because as it stands, it doesn't like the view as it stands. It wouldn't let me because of the amount of blood. But if I distorted it slightly and just cropped it so that there was a little bit less blood on the screen, it worked, which was quite bizarre. I don't know if they've got maybe, pixels that pick out blood content, and if there's X amount of blood on there, they might not allow it. I don't know. But for me, when I cropped it to a certain extent, it allowed it. So I didn't run into any problems from then on.
Okay, I might have to toy around with mine a little bit then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got a question myself. Jack?
Yeah, you go ahead and ask your question. I'm going to grab the book that Richard's talking about and let Damien look at this cover, and you tell us what the problem is.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, no problem. Damien, so how many books as a two-part question, how many books you have out, and do you see yourself being a full-time author soon?
Published books. I've got two books published. I've got a number of short stories in different anthologies. The amount of books I've written about 4 or 5, but some of them haven't been published yet. They need a bit of work, shall we say, and they're not ready to be published yet. Hopefully one day I could make enough money to be a writer full time. I'm quite fortunate at the minute that I can spend a lot of time writing. I don't have to, commute every day to a day job, 9 to 5, working the old Dolly Parton hours or anything like that. I can spend all day writing at the minute. That might change down the line. But yeah, hopefully one day I can make enough money from my writing that I could become a full-time author.
Awesome. Yeah, by the way, Damien, I got your first book in my Kindle, so I look forward to reading it when I have the time. So.
No, yeah, great. Let us know what you think.
Yep, will do.
Most definitely. Okay, so here it is. This is why I love my wall. I have access to whatever I need at any time. What's so horrible about this cover that you can't add it?
I've seen the cover, yeah. I have no idea. For me, like I said, there's a lot more blood depicted on the virus cover than that one. So I have no idea.
I mean, the only thing I can tell you is Amazon. I mean, they run on bots. Okay, so the Amazon bots. They run on an algorithm. So maybe one of the bots saw something that was graphic. I mean, because to be honest, when I see Amazon ads when I'm looking for books, I see worse than Richard. Trust me, I see much worse than what Richard's advertising. But so Richard, don't feel too bad. I mean, I see much worse than that.
I just hate changing my cover because I like it.
I understand. I understand, man. I mean, it's tough, but I mean, I wish we had a good answer for you, but I really don't, man. The only thing I could tell you is Amazon. Maybe they just don't like you, or maybe they don't like the Sasquatch.
Yeah, but yeah, man, they can just get over it. I'm not getting rid of my Sasquatches.
I was gonna say, who doesn't like Sasquatches?
I guess robots, though. I mean,
apparently not.
That's my only theory.
That's ridiculous.
The reason I had to ask that, Damien, because I saw your cover on there after I got turned down the first time. I'm like, oh, what the deuce, And I'm like, hey, look at what this guy's got on there.
Yeah, I got the fifth,
really cool.
The fifth of, one of my friends got a copy of my book yesterday, and you see the cover. It looks pretty graphic. I gotta admit, it looks. I mean, so I kind of got away with it, and meanwhile, you got Sasquatches, and they flag you for it.
Right, but. I mean, I love the cover though, Damien. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, there goes the cover for Damien's book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be.
Rich, I just came up. Something just bumped into my head. Maybe one of the Amazon bots thinks a Sasquatch is an animal, and it might have flagged it for animal cruelty. That's the only. As stupid as it sounds, as stupid as it sounds, it might have been flagged for animal cruelty.
You see what those animals are doing to the zombies? Maybe they feel sorry for the zombies. That's who they should be.
We're talking about Amazon here, man. All right. I mean, I'm just trying to come up with something, man. I really don't know.
Oh well.
Along the lines, talking how Rich's zombie books do feature Sasquatch and other creatures. Damien, do you have any ideas of doing something maybe non-zombie with a different type of villain, a different type of creature, or anything along those lines?
Yeah, the first book I wrote was actually a fantasy book, a dark fantasy. That's one of the ones that hasn't been published yet. I never intended to, to set out to be purely a zombie author. I've got a number of different, ideas down the line that I'm going to potentially put together. Different monsters, different ideas that I'm going to start working on. It's just finding the time. The virus was only supposed to be a standalone initially. I intended just to be a standalone book, but I started getting bombarded with messages of people saying, when's the next one out? Can I pre-order the next one? And I just thought, what? I didn't even think there was going to be a next one. And then all the reviews came. The reviews are mainly positive, and then they were saying they can't wait for the next book to come out. And I just thought, well, if they want another book, I'll write another book. So that's what I've been working on recently. But yeah, I've got a few ideas for different books, different villains, different monsters. So see what comes up.
Cool. Well, like you said, you had never even read anything zombie before you did yours. What were you into reading wise before you did yours?
I grew up with the standard horror writers, Stephen King, the likes of Clive Barker, Lovecraft, that kind of thing. And I grew up with that kind of horror in mind. There's a number of different influences I have, but I'm hoping none of them shine through in my writing. I hope I haven't plagiarized anyone. But yeah, I've like I said, I've grew up with classic horror really. Like I said, I hadn't read any zombie books up until that point. I've read a few now, admittedly, and I still got a number on my to be read list, which I'm currently working through as well. So there'll be a hell of a lot more read in the near future, I imagine.
Hell yeah. Any of you other guys over there got a question or comment?
Do you when you write, do you have anything like background music, any noise, anything? I know some writers are able to or like to I guess create while they're listening to music. I just wondering if that's what you do or
No, not really. I find it distracting because I'm also a musician myself. So whenever I listen to music, I kind of like zone in on that. And I always get distracted, so I start listening to the songs and I start, like humming along or tapping along and things. And before I know it, I'm just, stuck on the music and the writing's out the window. So no, I tend to have a quiet room when I'm writing.
okay.
Yeah.
What music? You're a musician. What do you play instrument or what?
Yeah. So I've played the likes of drums, guitar, mainly a drummer. I play guitar
Awesome.
and bass as well in different bands, but yeah, I used to be heavily involved with the music side. So it actually took me 10 years to write The Virus because I started out writing it, but then I get bored and I'd go back to music. And then I'd form a band. We'd be in bands for a few months going around doing gigs and things like that. And then that would fizzle out. I'd get bored of that. I'd come back and start writing again. And it was just constant vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where last year, I'd finished writing The Virus, but I hadn't got it, edited or cover made or anything like that. It was just a hobby at the time. And I got to the end of last year, well, I thought, I'm just going to put it out there. Let's see what it's like. So I commissioned the cover, got it edited, etc. And I published it earlier this year. And that's when I finally started knuckling down and said, I'll just stick with this. And so from March, I think it was this year, I've just been focusing on writing purely from that point onwards, really.
Well, I guarantee your fans like hearing that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what kind of music were you into? Like genre?
Honestly, you name a genre and chances are we played it. I've played everything from, heavy metal to rock to jazz to punk. I was in a 50-piece orchestra.
Holy crap.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, I've you name the genre, I've done it all really.
Renaissance.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, now, if a man wanted to get his hands on a CD or an MP3 or whatever, is that a possibility?
You don't want that, trust me.
Oh, damn.
Some of the bands I've been in, one of the bands, for instance, was a horror metal band where we all got dressed up in drag in different outfits, and we sang songs about, like serial killers and things like Freddy Krueger and Jason and Michael. We did all that kind of thing. So some of the things there should have stayed dead and buried, should we say. But no, I don't know if there's anything out there. I'll have to have a look, to be fair. I'll have to have a look to see if there's anything still kicking about online.
Hey, what? Speaking of audio, what about audiobooks? Have you thought about? I didn't see the virus out available on audio at all, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's the. I mean, I've never read listened to an audiobook either. So I don't know what to expect with audio. But I didn't realize how big they were until I released the virus. And again, people started asking when's the audiobook coming out. So I started looking into that, but it's just a price, you know. Even with, I suppose you could go on the line of offer split and things like that, but it's just on my to-do list really. I think once I publish the sequel, and you know, see how well that does, I might go back to the original and start, you know, getting the audiobooks out as well. Something that I need to work on.
Well, honestly, if I actually thought I'd be any good at it, I would gladly do your audiobook for you for free, but you don't want that.
I thought about
your royalty share, and it not cost you anything out of pocket. But I mean, you don't get as much on the royalties for that. But.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's something I need to look into because there is the royalty share aspect, but it's just another thing that I have to add to my list. It's a constant thing, isn't it? It's never ending. I mean, for me, I thought, you know, write the book, send it out there, write another book, keep sending it out, but there's so much more to it than that. You know, everything from the admin side, the social media side. Everything. So it's just a work in progress I've got at the minute, really.
I got a question, Damien. When you're writing your books in the virus, do you give a background on how the virus was created, or do you leave it up to the reader to decide for that?
No, so it's revealed at the end. It all starts coming together. There's two main stories that are kind of intertwined with each other. One group, you know, find out one aspect of how the virus was created or how the virus came about. The other side find out how it was distributed, and then the reader can just, you know, put two and two together and work it out. Which is why I felt like it was a standalone. Really, it was a case of, you know, this is how it was created. This is what's happened. And as with any, you know, zombie story, there's never going to be a happy ending, really, is there? So I thought I'd that basically, but yeah, I mean, when I put the virus origins out there as well, one of them stories kind of alludes to how it was spread as well. So yeah, it's definitely. I'm hoping that it's all wrapped up on that front, really.
Okay. Well, now once you finish the first book with the intent of that was going to be it, and then suddenly you realize, well, damn, I'm not going to get to stop right here. Have you thought about having an end point? You know, 3 books, 5 books, 20.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to be, you know, kind of typecast as a zombie author. There's a number of other different projects I've got lined up. I've got about maybe an idea for maybe 4 books, 5 potentially, at the most. I might have more than that, but I think that's just as far as my imagination can stretch at the minute. I can't think of anything beyond that point, really. I've got an idea of a few other characters I'm going to kill off and a few other people to introduce and then kill off as well. So, you know, I've got a few ideas in the pipeline, but I can't see it going beyond 4 or 5, really, at the minute, anyway.
Comments like the one you just made are why I love getting to do these shows, because you writers are freaking crazy, and I love it.
Yeah. I think if you search for a writer's, you know, search history online, we're all a bunch of psychopaths at the end of the day, aren't we?
Kind of funny. I saw something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff.
Oh no, you go.
I just saw something on. I think it was Facebook not long ago. It was like a little meme, and it was a couple of people at the NSA. And hey, I've got this guy's been looking up, like, how long does it take for a body to decompose, and how long does it take for someone to choke to death, and how long does it, you know, how long does it take for chloroform to work on somebody? And then like, wait a minute, this guy's a writer. Never mind. Yeah.
You know, that's a funny thing that you say that, because I kind of makes you wonder if people do really get flagged, you know, as writers, and maybe, you know, that, like they said, the FCC or somebody's watching this going, what is this person doing? You know, Because I could just imagine if somebody were to get on any of you guys that writes computers and start doing searches to see what you've been researching, they'd be like, dang.
If I
Yeah,
disappear
trust us,
mysteriously, then you'll know it's
we do
because of
look
something I
for some.
wrote.
Yeah, we do look for some freaky stuff sometimes, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
okay,
but
look,
then they'll see all the like cat memes and other crap you guys Googled,
Mhm.
and they'll be like, oh, they're fine.
Well,
So-
it's all part of research, isn't it? I think if you're not researching that, it's the people who don't research it. They're the ones who you need to
Yeah, yeah.
want to know how long it takes for chloroform to work. They're the ones who
well, along that same vein, what's the craziest thing you've Googled?
God, I haven't got a clue. Honestly, some of the stuff on my search history is just ridiculous. I can't even think off the top of my head now. I mean, a lot of the time you find the support groups on the likes of Facebook and things where you can ask a question, and there's people who are qualified to answer. So you can go into like the trauma group, for instance, and there's doctors, surgeons, nurses, and stuff like that who can answer medical questions for you. There's a cops and writers group where you can ask law enforcement questions. So a lot of the time you don't even need to Google it yourself. You can ask the experts really. A lot of the time, find out that way. So my search history itself, you never know, it might not be that bad.
Well, damn, I didn't even think about that. Just get into a group and ask questions straight.
You want to practice what you do.
Well, hell yeah. So what does Damien Lee do in his spare time?
At the minute, Damien Lee just spent his time editing. I'm sick to death of editing. That's all I've done in the past few days. That's actually all I've done. I'm currently putting together the cover as well. I spent a lot of time teaching myself Photoshop, and I've took a course on Photoshop and cover design to try and save money down the line. So I'm putting something together. I think I'm going to give up and pay somebody to do it. Like it's driving me. But I've been spending a lot of time on that as well. So hopefully there should be a cover reveal coming pretty soon. But other than writing, that's just literally been my life for the past few weeks and few months now. Like I say, with everything that's been going on with lockdown and things, there hasn't been a great deal we can do. But other than that, I mean, I've got loads of things lined up for gigs in the future. I love my music, so I'll be going to a lot of gigs next year. I've got festivals lined up. We got to me and my other half. We got to like a download festival every year, so we'll be going there again next year. So we love our festivals as well. So yeah, hopefully that next year is going to be a lot nicer than this year has been.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully,
Fingers crossed.
definitely, because I am over all this.
It's so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm tired of it too, man.
Although I guess if you think about it, one good thing that came from all of this is the whole Zoom thing and StreamYard and all those others.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
It opened us up to a whole different world. I mean, I'm sitting here literally getting to talk to someone across the sea that I would have never thought to even attempt to do pre-COVID. So I guess there's one little thing that kind of came out of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's allowed things like this to happen, hasn't it? So I can't complain with that.
Yeah, getting to meet the new people and talking with them, and yeah, it's one of the perks.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot more
Most
done when I telework than I do when I'm at the office. I can tell you that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
No distractions, nobody coming in to shoot the shit with you. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, hell, I honestly wish most people would have still stayed home after they started letting people go back, because I love not having traffic. Oh, it was so nice. Zoom
I
in,
hear
Zoom back, done,
Yeah.
and now it's back to gridlock.
Yeah.
And I hate people.
Yeah.
Hate people. Hate them.
Yeah,
Terrible.
definitely agree with that
Yeah,
one.
Isn't that ironic, Richard? You hate people, but yet you're talking to people. Is the irony?
Well, no,
I
he
know.
only talks to good people. He only talks to
It's a
good people, which is
necessity.
why we have
Yeah, right,
Damien.
right. Dennis. I understand, man. I'm just saying is that the irony is kind of it's kind of in your face.
Yeah, I was a cop for 10 years, man. I dealt with people all the time, and that's where I just built a real strong disdain for people. I just hate them. I hate crowds because crowds have people, and I just hate people.
Yeah,
Again,
you and me.
trying to get home today just to make it in time for the show. I
Mhm.
had to talk to quite a few cops to get me to where I needed to go because they had all the roadblocks, and I'm like, the one cop, I know I saw him 3 different times. At some point, I was waiting for him just to be like, dude, just park and give up. You're not going on. I couldn't
Can you just
imagine
ask
having,
me this question? Get out of here. Yeah.
and I did. And it was literally the
Yeah,
same guy.
maybe
kept
the
coming back
heck of
around.
known.
I was so lost. So now, Damien, what's the traffic like where you live?
It's not too bad, to be fair. I mean, with working from home and things like that, it allows. I mean, I've saved so much money. You don't realize how much money you spend on fuel alone when you're commuting back and forth. But when I suddenly see, I've got like hundreds of quid left over at the end of the month, and you think, where's that come from? You realize it's because I'm spending every day in the house. I'm not commuting every day. So now that, I mean, things are going back to normal now, so the traffic's getting quite bad. But fortunately, I'm not having to tackle it at the minute, so I can't complain with that really.
Well, I guess tell everybody a little bit about where you live.
So I live in just on the outskirts of Whitby. Whitby's, for those who don't know, it's Dracula town basically. It's got a lot of Gothic history to it. And as a horror author, there's no better place to be. Really, we've got the Goth weekend, where you just see like a sea of black. Just the goths are everywhere. Old and young. There's stalls out there. There's music. Live bands. It's quite good. Things like that. You got Whitby Abbey just maybe about 10 minutes down the road from where I am, which it's one of them monuments that everyone goes to look at because of the links to Dracula and things like that. So it is quite a good place. If anyone ever makes a trip to England at any point, make sure you go to Whitby. Cracking fish and chips as well. If you come at your best in the country.
Yum.
Love it.
Yeah.
I wish he hadn't
fish
said
and
that. I
chips.
haven't eaten lunch yet. He never.
Me either.
Said that. I'm
And I'm an hour
you're
before
right.
you.
No.
Apologies.
It's all good.
So, Javin has this thing he does. He'll do a little, I guess, just a Facebook Live for a few minutes where he'll try Marmite on just whatever. I mean, one time I saw him doing it on the sole of a shoe. I don't know what he was doing. It was just insane. Have you ever had that delicacy?
No, I'm a big believer in if it doesn't smell nice, it won't taste nice, and I can't stand the smell of it. So nah, I just walk away from it every time. Can't. Absolutely horrible.
Damn, Rich, we are so screwed.
I know.
We're
Mine's
gonna do
coming
it
in at 8:00 tonight.
Yeah, mine's gonna be arriving in the next couple of days. We're gonna.
I
do
told
this
you
on
guys
live.
not to do it.
Yeah,
I
man.
told you. I
We're
ate it
men.
at Javin's the first time, and I was
Yes.
like, never again.
It's like drinking baking soda, man. It's like drinking baking soda.
It's
bad.
worse than that. It
Really?
lingers in your mouth like for
Oh,
an hour.
man.
It's gross.
The
Don't
thing is,
Everybody
we,
tells me to put it
guess
on
you-
like
you rather
toast.
drink Buffalo chicken soda, right, Patty?
Yeah. Ugh.
It's like
It's supposed to be
everybody's telling me to put it on toast or cheese toast. So what I thought I'd do is I'm thinking about putting it on a grilled cheese sandwich. Just spreading a little bit.
Oh
on top.
God. Good luck.
It's like tar. Okay, so when you scrape it out of the little jar, you just put a little on the knife and just put a tiny like thin layer. Okay, because I know a lot of people were telling Javin from the UK just put a thin layer on his toast, and of course he didn't. He put a glob on it and ate it, and I was like, oh. So Javin's mom made a piece of toast and I put it on there, and it is salty, yeasty. It's like it tastes like what I would imagine a sweaty sock would taste
Like a
like.
wet sock.
Yeah, like just gross.
You know, it'd be a good.
I did not enjoy it.
You know, it'd be a good challenge, Jack.
oh
The
no,
mo-
here we
it-
go.
Eating a sandwich of Marmite and a drink of baking soda next to it. That'd be a good challenge for you.
You trying to kill me?
I'm just trying for eight plus entertainment.
Hey,
Bacon
Randy's jumped
soda.
in with us.
I want to jump in because I've eaten quite a bit of it, tasting along with Javin, and it's not as bad once if you eat a little bit. Like I say, too much is not good. We did find it was actually the only thing that was good at it was as a steak marinade. We actually used it on steak marinade.
I would probably eat it if we did that, but yeah, just on the toast was like, I tasted, you remember, I mean, it was like, it was gross.
It was, yeah, it's,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
a soup as a soup base, yeah. There's a lot of ways you
oh,
can do
maybe,
it.
okay, I could see
I-
that.
I saw a chili. They got a chili flavor. Now that sounded interesting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw Sue, I think,
Yeah.
posted that.
Sue
Yeah.
posted it,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
May have to see about finding some of that. So,
I don't know.
Damien, what
Mhm.
kind of delicacy is known for your region that we would know nothing about? That you whether you like it or don't like it, but it's something that pretty much only gets eaten over there. What you got?
Which something that's quite unique to our region is the chicken parmo. Don't know if you've heard of that. The chicken parmo is just basically parmo. It's like a breaded chicken, bechamel sauce, melted cheese on the top, and it's that's a northern delicacy over around these parts. That's something I think you'd be able to try. That's nice. I'll give you that. Marmite.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Marmite's a big no for me, but chicken parmo.
I may have to look that up. In fact, I may need you to send me the spelling for the parmore. Is it Parmore?
Parmo. Parmo.
Parmo. Okay.
Parmo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be looking. I'm gonna be looking for a recipe.
Or
That
chicken
is getting
parmesan. Gosh. Yeah, chicken parmesan is another name for it.
Okay. Yeah, and I know the standard chicken parmesan. Now I've had that. That I like. That I really like.
Yeah, I haven't had it with bechamel, so that sounds good.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. I mean, like I say, I don't do I do Marmite crisps though. We have Marmite crisps over here occasionally. They seem to be a seasonal thing. They only come out every now and again. But you can have Marmite crisps. I've tried them before. Nice packet of them. They're all right, but Marmite itself, nah.
Nah,
I might
not so much.
pass.
Crisp is a potato chip, right? Is that
Yeah, crisps are potato
Potato,
chips. Yeah.
Chips for you
Okay.
guys. Yeah.
Our
All right.
chips are their fries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little bit interesting, isn't it? But yeah, we have crisps. We have and our chips here. Yeah, like you say, your fries. French fries for us are the tiny little thin ones. Chips are just chips, your big chunky chips.
They're yummy.
Yeah.
That they are. So now, Damien, with you going through your editing process right now, what's the most difficult thing you've encountered? Whether it be lengthening the book, shortening the book, taking something completely out of the book, what's the thing that's just challenging you the most right now?
Motivation is the biggest. Every time I look at it, I just think, no, I don't want to do it today. No, I mean it does. It's currently standing at about 88,000 words. I think it's going to be nowhere near that much by the time I finished it. Especially not when my editor's got all of it, because my editor, she just has to edit it, and it will be reduced a hell of a lot by the time my editor gets all of it. But no, I mean I do a number of edits. I go back through it. People say you're supposed to, wait a week, you wait 2 weeks or even a month, some people say, before you read it again, to read it with fresh eyes. I mean, the thing that I've got is I've got such a bad memory, I can't remember what I've wrote anyway. So I could literally finish, then start again the next day, and it's all like reading it anew for me, because my memory's that bad. So I read through it, I make changes as and when, to make sure it's right for structure, make sure things are flowing well, and then I'll go back through it again, picking up on the common mistakes that I make or the common things that that my editor tells me off for, and then after I've done a number of edits, I'll send it over to her as well, and then she'll probably just red pen it all the way through, and just decimate it. But
Damn.
It's all in the name of art, so it's fine.
Well, if you weren't writing, what would be the thing you would do to entertain yourself besides the music? We're going to eliminate music too. We're going to get rid of the two things that you really do. I said do, and go with something. If you had a third option, what would you be doing?
Oof, probably sat on my ass watching telly all day, I imagine.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm into sports and things like that. I do like my sport. I'm quite outdoorsy as well. It's quite hard now with being winter, but I love being in the outdoors, walks in the woods, and there's loads of hills around here as well. We've got the Yorkshire Moors, which is like miles and miles of endless, fields and hills and stuff like that. So you could go walking for for hours, and some of the views you get, they're absolutely stunning. So I do enjoy, out and about hiking and walking and things like that. So I'll probably be out and about, I imagine. Maybe not now because it's so bloody cold at the minute, but yeah, ordinarily I'll be out and about doing something.
Cool. Now you say you're into sports. What are your favorite sports?
Football, or soccer for you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I like me football, I like me boxing, things like that. They're probably the main ones, I imagine. But if there's sport on the telly, I'll watch it. Really, I mean, I'm not really that picky. I enjoy sports, so it's whatever's on the telly, I'll watch at the time.
So, do you keep up with American football at all?
I used to. When I was growing up and playing the old Madden games and stuff like that, that got me into NFL, American football for a bit. I'm not going to tell you who I supported at the time, yeah, I followed it for a while. I don't really follow it so much anymore, but I mean, if it was on the telly, I'd watch it. But the problem we've got is the likes of the Super Bowl and stuff like that. For us, it's on at like stupid o'clock in the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning.
You gotta stay up. Yeah, you gotta stay up. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it would have to be a case of watching it back over. But I mean, it's the same for the boxing as well. I mean, boxing when it happens over in Vegas and stuff like that, for us, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and half the time I fell asleep. So I'd wake up the next day and watch it, first thing without going on Facebook to find out what the results were. So yeah, it's quite hard to follow though for us over this side of the pond.
Well, obviously, with me not knowing the area that you're in very well, without breaking out Google Maps or whatever, when the NFL comes over and plays the games at Wembley and various places, are you close enough that you could ever make it to one of those?
I mean, from my perspective, I'd say no. I think from your perspective, you guys over there probably say it's not that far. I mean, it's probably about maybe 100 mile or 200 mile away from where I live, so I could potentially travel down and see it. But I mean, for that distance, I probably wouldn't. And you go down to the likes of London, and the prices, triple. We've been the capital of the country. The prices just go straight up. So you're going to be paying, triple price for any kind of accommodation, for your food and things like that. I mean, it's just not a life I'm accustomed to. I'm used to cheap things up here. The north is quite neglected, so we have loads of cheap things up here. So yeah, it's a different life down there.
Right. Not to mention, most of the time, the teams that do play in England are usually come with the crappier teams in the NFL. So you're not really getting the best of the NFL coming to your town. You usually got the Jaguars and Falcons, some of the lesser teams going there.
Yeah,
it's kind of messed up. Mike, they had the Jets this year. Mike, Jack, they had the Jets this year. That how crap they are.
Yeah, and it's why you keep bringing them up since they beat my guys.
And I'm gonna keep bringing it up because, man, you should have had them.
But hey, if Damien, if you do decide you want to be a bandwagon jumper, Tennessee Titans all day, baby.
Is that right?
Tighten up.
I'll bear that in mind.
So, education-wise, did you graduate from high school, go to college, anything like that?
No, I didn't. I didn't like education. I mean, I went to I passed high school. I went to college. Fortunately, my girlfriend at the time, she did all my work for me. She was into work, and she used to love doing loads of work. So for all of my assignments and things like that, she just do them for me, and I was quite happy for her to do them, and she always do them for me. So I kind of like managed to scrape through college, not of my own accord, I might add. And then when I came to university, I just thought, nah, I can't do it anymore. I wanted to go straight into work. After school, I mean, I've worked since I was 13, which is quite a while ago. But I've worked since I was 13, and I've always had like part-time jobs and stuff even throughout school. So I've always had that work ethic. So when it came to either going on to full-time university and be a student or going into full-time work, it was a no-brainer for me, and I just went into work really.
Well, hell yeah. So with the time you spent in school, give us one good funny story.
Wasn't much of it.
So he was laughing. He was laughing already. So I don't know.
To be fair, honestly, my memory's so bad. I can hardly remember school. If I'm honest, it's so bad. I think I've got some kind of medical condition. To be honest, I probably repressed this more than anything. I can't think. To be fair, I used to get told off a lot at school. I spend more time doing things like detention than I would spending time at home. So I probably tell you a lot about how my school years went.
Sound like somebody I'd have been hanging out with in school.
Yeah. It was always one of the the ones that just didn't want to be there. Really, I mean, I was always in the not like the jock groups or anything like that. There was no groups really as such. It was more about a case of I just didn't like being there. I didn't like, like what Rich said, I just don't like people, really.
Yeah.
So if there was any chance that I had where I didn't have to be, stuck to in like that education establishment, I'd go. So any chance I found to nick off on the shops or whatever, or just to go for a walk and just to get out, I would. So that landed me in detention quite a lot. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just one of them things where nothing really happened. I just kind of like breezed through it, really. It's kind of just, did what I needed to get through, and then that was it. I'd go home. So it wasn't really eventful.
It is pretty cool though that you said that your girlfriend was the one, writing a lot of your stuff for you, because I find it pretty neat that a writer had a ghost writer for their education.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the subjects that I studied, I studied things like law and psychology and things like that, and they got to the point where the work I handed in was so good it was A-star level, like an A+ kind of thing. It was the best of the best because she was an A-star student herself. But when it came to the written exams, they turned around and said to me, if you got the worst possible mark, which was like an E, in this test, you still come out with a C at the end of it. So they said, don't worry, you'll be fine. So I go in, sit the exam, and I came up with a D. So God knows what I put in the assessment, but it was so bad that it didn't even give me an E grade. It got me worse than that. So I came out with a D in law, and I came out with things like, I think it was a C in psychology. I managed to, scrape through that somehow. But I didn't really use any of them subjects going on, in the working world. So it was a bit pointless, really. But yeah, I was lucky, like I said, to have somebody there to do the main hard work for me. So yeah,
I could have used somebody like that. Trust me, my country ass, I did good just to get through pre-algebra. You're talking about an E grade. Well, over here, we grade. Honestly, I don't know how the hell they grade now with the new way the education system runs over here. But when I was in school, we graded on an A, B, C, D, or F grade. So how do your grades work?
To be fair, you're talking a long time ago now, so it might have changed again, like you say. But it was A to F, really. F was the worst. I think it was an A-star, or like your A+ was the best. So like, God knows what I got. I must have got like an F- or something in my law exam. To give me the worst possible outcome, but funny enough, I did end up going into law enforcement for a bit as well, so that kind of turned out to be a bit ironic. But it's A to F, I think. Whether it's changed now, it's been years since I've been to school, so God knows if it's changed.
So you worked in law enforcement?
I did, yeah. I worked for about 4 or 5 years as a cop. Working in my local district. After about 4 or 5 years, I got to the point where I just thought I need something else. I went through a divorce with my ex-wife, and she wouldn't let me see my kids on my rest days. So, I'd get like 10 days without seeing them. So I thought I need to do something different because my shift patterns weren't, they weren't up to scratch. So I left law enforcement after about, like I said, about 4 or 5 years, I think it was. And went into something new. So, yeah.
Okay.
Books. So when it comes to the law enforcement aspect, I kind of got that knowledge, which I'm sure yourself, Rich, as well. You'll have that knowledge as well when it comes to the law enforcement aspect when you're writing your books. So I mean, it all helps. It's all experience. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Damn, Skippy. So now when you were out being, in law enforcement, did you ever have any like seriously scary run-ins?
Yeah, I mean, there was some absolute nutters out there. I mean, we are fortunate over here in that when it comes to the likes of firearms, we don't have them. There's no firearms. There's no jobs like that. You don't get equipped with a firearm. Yeah, I mean, we had
that.
Yeah, I mean, we had spray. We had like the bloody like pepper spray. The pepper spray and a baton was all we had to to defend ourselves. But yeah, I mean, there's some absolute psychopaths out there. We don't know if you remember, it's about 10 years ago, 10 years ago, there was the crazy clown phase. I don't know if you had it over there, but we had a crazy clown.
We did.
Yep.
Yeah, we where there was this literally nutters walking about with machetes, dressed in clown outfit, full get up, walking around with machetes, and you just think, Jesus Christ, if I go over there, I'm going to get hacked to death. So there was a few squeaky bum moments, I think, when we had to tackle them. But yeah, I mean, it's just apart from that, was your bog standards, your bog standard law enforcement stuff. It's probably, like I say, it's not a patch on what you guys have to deal with over there. I've always said I don't think I could ever cut it as a cop in America. It's 10 times more dangerous, I think, for you guys than what it is for us. But yeah, you see things which aren't exactly the best, but it's part of the job.
Okay, completely unrelated to this interview. I just happened to look over and notice that my name changed again. I'm now Slippery Jack.
Slippery Jack.
Can't take Randy anywhere, I swear.
Well,
we're starting.
Jack, you feeling slippery today?
I guess so. Well, as we're starting to get close to the end of this whole thing, as always, I like to make sure that my two writing co-hosts get a chance to let everybody know where to find all their wonderful works. And trust me, they are wonderful. Make no mistake. So, Richard, where are they going to find you, brother?
All right. You can find me on my Facebook author page. And also have an author page on Amazon and Goodreads. And I have a website, richardrrose.com. Yeah, getting in the process of updating my newsletter, or actually having a newsletter, so that's coming soon. But almost complete with the first draft of the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys prequel 1.5 novella, and we'll be seeing that on the available on Amazon in the very near future, probably January, February at the latest.
Cool. Angel.
Yes, sir. Yes, you can find me on my Facebook group, the Legionnaires of Angelus Maximus. You can also find me on the Written Undead, posting every day. You can find me on Amazon. Look up Angel Ramon to find my zombie books, or Angelus Maximus to look up my historical fiction lit RPG. And I'm working on editing Betrayal of the Arcanine 2, and Jack is gonna be thick. Nice
I know.
And thick.
I love it.
And finally, you can find me on my personal Facebook page, torturing Jack about his Titans losing to the Jets.
Yeah. Giant fan.
Hey, I gotta laugh at something.
Hey, I am always here to be laughed at. Always. So, Damien, thank you first off for coming on with us. This has been an absolute blast. I've enjoyed it. When you get ready to have another book coming out, get in touch with us. Let us know in advance so we can get you scheduled, so we can do a pre-release show, whatever. That way everybody can know it's coming, be ready for it. But where can we find you, my man?
I'm always talking about social media in some shape or form. I do struggle with social media, so if I don't respond to people quickly, it's because it's not one of the things that comes naturally to me, the social media aspect. But yeah, I'm on pretty much every social media platform: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I created TikTok. I've got no idea how to use it. You won't see me doing dances or anything like that. But yeah, if you want to message me on TikTok, feel free. I've also got my website, damienlee.co.uk. But most of my my news and any updates will come via my the fan club that I've launched last week or the week before. If you just search for the Damien Lee fan club, you should find that.
I'm in.
Me too.
Same here. I'm in too.
Same
Yeah,
here.
we're talking about loads of random stuff, as I'm sure you've all seen. Everything. I mean, it's mostly food. To be fair, I think we're all foodies in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of food posts, but yeah, feel free. Anyone who wants to join, feel free. You know, we're always happy to keep on chatting to more people.
Well, that is absolutely fantastic. Now, do you have any events coming up anywhere that you're going to be overseas where people that are over there that might catch this show would need to know where to go find you?
No, not really. To be fair, I tend to spend most of my time inside. No, nothing coming up. If there is anything coming up, it'll probably be you know, I mentioned on my Facebook group and stuff like that. When things start getting back to normal, hopefully there'll be some kind of, you know, writing workshops I can be attending. There'll be meet and greets and things like that, which we've got coming up. It's hard to plan things at the minute because the way it is, it's always up and down, isn't it? 1 minute you're in lockdown, next you're not. So,
Yeah.
the way that it's looking at the minute, it's not gonna be anytime soon. So we'd have to wait and see.
Well, all righty. For Richard Ryan Rose, Patty Fry Raccio, and the one and only Angel Ramon, that is Damien Lee. Go out and get the virus origins. Be ready for the next thing he's got coming out. Everybody, it was a wonderful show today, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace out.
Later, guys.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Now we